Hello, this is J.N.S, and today we are covering part 10 of the Nakhti Queen Mothership Enterprise Architecture series. We are actually almost done. Now remember, this was a part of a framework blueprint that was published in January as a part of a book. Actually, it was part 2 to the Queen Mothership. The first one, Nakhti Queen Mothership, as you know, covered the history of matriarchies for melanated people, primarily in Africa. But after I published that book, come to find out that the same dynamic can actually be found in, the Americas as well, for those melanated people in the Americas. And so, I decided to do a follow-up part 2, which is pretty much just a framework of what that will look like today. Like if we were to do a Queen Mothership governance system, a matriarchal system in a small community or intentional community, or whoever wanted to do that, what could that possibly look like? And so I carved out chapter by chapter what that could look like from multitudes of levels, whether that be the economic level, the housing level, the governance level, the education level, intelligence level, defense, everything you can think of. And so that is what is out to the public. It was a labor of love. I didn't expect to get anything out of it, as far as any monetary benefits from the book itself. And obviously I'm shadow banned on levels unknown to man, but this stuff is out there. The teachings are out there, my work is out there, but it's up for you as a people to do the work. There are many keys in front of you, unfortunately, that go amiss, and primarily, to be honest, that's not necessarily your fault, due to the distractions and the psyops that you are under 24/7. But I'm not going to get into that. That is a story for another day, as one of my good sis would say. I want to say, though, we continue with part 10. I think we got like 2 to 3 more videos left. So I think you guys are for those who stuck it out, I'm long-winded. I go on tangents, me. And so I'm happy that you guys stuck it out with me, getting this information, at least learning the framework, at least seeing if it's something you're interested in, or just learning in general, So I appreciate that. If you are new, I do ask that you check out my work in general, as far as the videos that you see, as well as, obviously, definitely look at the broader series of the Nakhti Queen Mothership that's on YouTube. But I also have a course on the first Nakhti Queen Mothership that goes into in more detail about the history, more detail of just lectures of the Queen Mothership and the dynamics between Black women and Black men, as well as why melanated women in particular were overthrown. So there is a course on Nakhti University about the Nakhti Queen Mothership. It is more detailed. We have a new platform, a new LMS system. So that I'm very excited about. So I would appreciate if you guys went and checked that out. I really would appreciate that on nakhtiuniversity.com. I'm available, to talk about these things. If you guys want to just shoot an email. You also can hit me up on nakhticommunitycenter.com. That is the community-based scholarship component of the Nakhti University. It is community centered out for you guys. So that it just has like forums. It has we do meetings. You can do live meetings. There's instant chat. There's resources about my scholarship in terms of some of the free material that I have written, some of the articles that I've written, that I've published about Black American genocide. What else? Did we do Black American genocide and reparations? I got to put the one about the Black American arranged marriage program, and then there was one about the right to property and Black Americans redlining. So if you want to learn that history in terms of how redlining affects you guys today, that would be great as well. That's all on nakhticommunitycenter.com. You got to go to the Black the research center, pretty much, for Black Americans. You got to go to that section, click on that, and that's where you'll find the articles. But I'm doing a lot of work. A lot of it is mentally. I'm more cerebral than actually physical. I'm more spiritual than actually physical. So And so, a lot of my work is on the mental plane and the spiritual plane, certainly. And so, I do appreciate the support. I went through a hell of a month, I would say, in July. And so, through the learning experience and the wisdom that I've gained and the knowledge that I've gained, and, that the process of self-mastery, the process of emotional intelligence, the process of ego management, image management. These are things that I'm learning in real time. I may be, I may have an edge or maybe over, a lot of people, but at the same time, I'm still quite engaged in that process. And so, I'm just making headway. I'm very big on self-development. You guys know that I'm very big on mastery of not just the subconscious mind, but of all components of the mind, all components of the emotional body. And I'm definitely engaged in that process right now. And so, I want to get into it right with you. I want to encourage you to be of that self-mastery. I want to share something with you real quick. It may seem tangential, but in the long run, once everything is said and done, and it's 500 years from now, 1,000 years from now, this will all make sense for someone who sits and study everything. And so I want to give you encouragement and remember that everything is within. The kingdom of God is within. Okay, so I want to share a quote with you. We are like the spider. We weave our life and then move along in them. We are like the dreamer who dreams, then lives in the dream. That is from the Upanishads, okay? And I want to share another quote. No one outside ourselves can rule us inwardly. When we notice, we become free. It's obviously a quote from the Buddha. And so that is something that I want to encourage all of us, including myself, to continuously work on. Okay, now you may have to do a little more research on a scholarly level to understand what those quotes mean. What is the Upanishads? What is that? These are texts. The Upanishads about, I'm going to say 4,000 to 6,000 years old. I am quite familiar with the Upanishads. I've been studying that for about 10 years. I haven't necessarily been the best at application in some regards, and it depends on what it is. But a lot of the revelation of the Upanishads is now making more sense to me. And so I wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys are wondering, sometimes, people want to know what exactly my methodologies and stuff. So, and information that's free that may be in front of you that you may not think to look. And so I want to give you that. If you guys, I think you can find the Upanishads for free. And so, with that being said, that is just my little satsang of spiritual intuition. I'm going to get more into that in the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self YouTube channel. If you guys go over there. Now, for the most part, the content that you see over there is the content that's on here, but I'm going to be separating the two because we're going to get very, very deep. In that channel, I can get more deep on versus Nakhti University, which is more educational. It's just that Nakhti Church of the Higher Self, we going in with a banger. Like, every video is going to be about esoteric knowledge, Gnosticism, my own spiritual teachings and philosophies. We're going to be breaking down a lot of things from the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self, and then the Nakhti Queen Mothership Order, which is a component of the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self, which is a high society membership order that has some concealment. So it's not necessarily a secret society, but it is a high society. It was formerly called the Ancient Cult of Kali. This is a old interdimensional order, and we're just pretty much bringing it down to this dimension, and we're renaming it. And we are giving out some of the information and also supplementing some of the information that's already on this planet as well, So it's not like, we're coming to take you to the mountaintop, which we can. And if you guys pay attention enough, if you're serious, if you got to do the work, though, you will. You can ascend your soul and ascend through levels, but you have to do the work. You cannot depend on somebody else to do the work for you. And that was never in any dimension or any universe where that is really respectable. So we find it quite alarming that that is the methodology used on planet Earth, to be quite frank. So part 10, we're covering chapter 13. And if you guys want to know, chapter 13 is intelligence and preventing disruption. Very interesting, to be honest, naturally, and I may be speaking in a self-fulfilling prophecy or whatnot, but intelligence has always been something of interest to me. And there's various intelligence agencies. There are galactic ones, there are earthbound ones. Obviously, the earthbound ones. Believe it or not, we have galactic oligarchs, galactic federation. You talk about we have our own intelligence agencies, and then we have some of the ones that you all are familiar with, the CIA and whatnot. And so this chapter, it talks about like, what kind of intelligence can you do as a community, and so it's a highly controversial. I am very much aware that I am under surveillance pretty much 24/7, and so that's the cross that some people decide to bear. For me, it's not necessarily a cross. It is again, as a galactic oligarch spiritual being, this is much deeper than any of you guys could imagine on levels. So some of you that's in the know, you're in the know. And there are thousands of you that are actually in the know, that secretly know what's going on, but you're under hush orders, so you guys can't speak out on my behalf. You guys can't speak out and at least say, okay, yeah, she's not, she knows what she's talking about. And I get that. That is what it is. So sometimes I feel alone, but obviously in the heavenly realm, I know I can never be alone, especially with God, as God. And so, we're going to cover such a very controversial topic. And many of you are going to be like, oh, she's talking about Black Americans starting on intelligence agency. Oh my God. There is a Black American paramilitary already that the government is aware of. I'm not going to get into that. There's tons of paramilitaries. And so, you guys, some of you that are in the matrix, and some of you that are under, whatever you're into, whatever you entangled with, and so you guys are probably going to turn off the video right now, but I do want to talk about it. Like, how do you prevent disruption when you are building the Nakhti Queen Mothership and the intelligence? And so I want to talk about that. If, we were in a perfect world, I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, I would be an expert master at that. It's something that, like, you can ask some of my friends that I grew up with. I can naturally, conduct intelligence and get information. Honestly, it's actually in my bloodline, but many of you are the same way. But if we were in a perfect world, we would be able to, use that gift and use those things for our benefit. But we are in a system where, when you go to those intelligence agencies, they want you to turn on your own people. And that's the problem that I have, where it's like you're working against your own people. And so that's the no-go for me. But I remember being, is the right word solicited? Maybe the right word is not solicited, but I remember receiving an email from my one of the education institutions that I went to. They reached out to me for an interview. It was just an interview. They got profiles on people, and it was an intelligence agency that reached out for a job interview. I turned it. I think it was Homeland Security, if I can remember correctly. But that was years ago. Like, I want to say 2016, 2017. Obviously, I never went to the interview. And it was actually for an intelligence analyst position. And the reason why I didn't go is because I wasn't even in a state at the time. That's literally the only reason why. I probably would have entertained it. I don't know. But what I'm saying is, that is one of the problems, as far as like with this country, in terms of Black Americans not getting their fair shake, because many of us have these gifts to protect our homeland, to protect our birthrights, to protect, and we're not able to get a foothold in some of these institutions because they want us to work against our people and work against our best interests. And some of us are just not going to do that. And so that's where I stand with the broader intelligence community, earthbound wise. And when I say earthbound, I'm talking about dimensional. Earth is a dimension. It is. You guys may see it as more physical, Some of you don't. Some of you are definitely aware of what Earth is. But as far as in this dimension, I'm speaking only in that regard. Now, this video in particular is going to cover what does an intelligence look like for us, for our community, Black Americans. And so therefore it gets controversial. And so that comes with that comes with its own its own behemoth, I'll say. But let me read the chapter to you nonetheless. It's been 16 minutes. Yeah, let's start. Yeah, let's get right into it. So it says, one way to spot a spy or disruptor within a movement is by observing behavior. So you are encouraged to observe niggas. I mean, you encouraged. Let me rephrase that because I gotta stop saying the N-word. You are encouraged to observe people. Okay, a person may be outwardly supportive of the mission, but if their actions do not match their words, they can be a threat. So you always want to look at people's actions and not their motherfucking words. That's very important in life in general, but it's becoming even more important today. You gotta wake up. You gotta look at when people be all, oh, I'm your friend, but they be you every time you turn around, they sabotaging your shit and saying it's an accident. They fucking up your shit and it's an accident. People do this in groups. People do this in organizations. People do this, especially COINTELPRO. This is what happens. And then, oh, that's just their personality. They just messy. They just gossipy. They just, no. Get them out the paint. No. Don't get, and that's what we big on. The first time we see you starting a bunch of bullshit and it's some drama, you messy. Everything is a negative. It's always some negativity around your ass. You out. We throwing you out. The Nakhti Queen Mothership. We throwing you out. We give you a warning. We will put you on probation and monitor your ass. And so, and I apologize for sounding like this, but you just don't know what I have uncovered, you know, even with my own friends around me. You know, and this is just a human thing, and this is just the nature of life. You're gonna have motherfuckers that be in your face smiling, be in your organization smiling, and all the time they want to take your place. And all that, and a lot of times when people be all friendly, and I remember another person that said this, but a lot of times when people be super motherfucking friendly and super flattery, that is them looking for a soft spot in your back to stab your ass. Straight up. You can believe it or not, and many of you know that to be true from experience. Anytime somebody is always too flattery, and it's not even so much about the flattery, but they want to get real close to you too quickly. They want to, they you my best friend, you this friend, and but they copy everything you do. Don't give you credit. You say one thing, they copy. The copycat shit. A lot of that you want to watch too. You want to watch a person that do that. Now, you can be inspired by somebody. There's plenty of times you'll be inspired, but you know, there's a fine line. And you also got to assess the maturity of the person. Is that person just inspired by you, or are they low-key envious? And so you have to be able to spot that. And so in this organization, we all have to be that way. We all have to be that way. The women, and it's going to be a lot of women in the Nakhti Queen Mothership. You know how women are. You know how Black women are in particular. And how Black women have not always been this way, especially from my dimension. Like the ancient order of Kali, which is now the Nakhti Queen Mothership. We ain't never dealt with nothing like the stuff that y'all like some damn archons. Y'all like possessed or some shit around here. Y'all like homunculus, because we definitely don't get down like that. Like sisterhood and being there for your sister, you know, it's a real thing, you know, and from my dimension. And loving on the divine feminine, looking out for women and children, making sure the men feel good, making sure that everybody feels safe. I'm not saying we just forget about the men either, but we are big on women because our dimension, we study the laws of electromagnetism and quantum mechanics and quantum physics, and we understand that the divine feminine gives rise to divine masculine. And so we know that. Planet Earth knows that as well, by the way. But all dimensions are pretty much aware of that. So this is just the way of life. And it does not mean that we do not care about men, but on this dimension, they try to reverse everything. So you got all the Black women male identified, and the Black woman is at the bottom. Black melanated people in general is at the bottom, and then they can't figure out why. But then they weren't always at the bottom, and the time that they weren't always at the bottom, they had a matriarchy. Go figure. Then these idiots refuse to study their fucking history. You know what? Let me just get back. I'm about to. I apologize. I apologize. Because, you know, this is a topic that's very sensitive to me. It is something that I care about deeply. And as far as like when I talk about the Queen Mothership and the laws of electromagnetism, been saying the same thing for 3 years, never wavered, never changed my mind. Even though I have actually been very much so more gracious to men. Like a lot of the women that I roll with, they are not as gracious. And so I've always been the one in all dimensions throughout all lifetimes has been the one to been looked at like, okay, if you want some grace, if you want somebody to vouch for you, you want somebody to put in a good word for you, it was always me. It was always Kali J.N.S. Kali. I was always the one out of my order that the men would come to. Oh, you put in a good word for the committee or the council. You know, obviously we speak in interdimensional and spiritual. This is a spiritual thing that I'm speaking about now. Okay, because I know a lot of y'all love to, oh, J.N.S. Oh, she's talking, oh, woo-woo. Oh my gosh, I wish you motherfuckers would wake up. And one day you will. And so, you know, I can be all you guys want to say that I am, but I know for damn sure what I'm talking about. And I know for damn sure the people that love to claim that I'm weaponizing knowledge admit that I'm super intelligent and genius and then call me crazy. None of you bitches will debate me. And the reason why, and I don't mean to get like this, I'm on a tangent again, but I have been dealing with that shit for a month straight. Behind the scenes, obviously you guys don't know what I've been going through. You know, some of you do. Some of you were very much aware. Many of you were more aware than I was aware. Many of you reached out months ago and trying to send me messages of what the fuck was going on. Actually, it's been going on for years, and I'm just now realizing it. So, you know, I was boo-boo the fool. So many of you have been trying to tell me for years of what was in front of me. And so I get it. I missed the clues, I missed the messages, but now obviously with that self-reflection, introspection, and you know, I'm seeing. I get it. But yeah, you know, it sucks for people to say things about you when they know it's just not true. You know, when you know it like that, and it's because they want to discredit you or because they scared of what you know or what you gonna say. That's some pussy ass shit. And to be honest, one of my best friends that I knew since I was 9 years old, who I thought was best friend, did some shit like that to me. Oh, you're this, you need to go do this. And I'm like, nigga, since when has you ever talked to me like that? You know, but you know, that's where healing comes in, and that's where moving on comes in. That's where healing comes in, and that's where moving on comes in, to be honest. But let's keep going. Please pay attention to who is consistently involved in the movement and what advice they offer. So you also want to pay attention to the advice that they give. Is it logical? Is it goal-oriented? Is it measurable? You want to pay attention to all those things. If someone's contribution seems too good to be true or goes against established protocols, then you do need to you need an investigation, and then you can have system-based approaches to do that. Certain models, you know, like performance models, human performance models. I'm actually studying that stuff, and it's incredibly damn interesting. And so one of the ones that we use in like the instructional design would be ADDIE, but ADDIE was actually started by the Army. It was started by the military, so it's military science, and so it gives you a process of how to analyze, develop, design, implement, evaluate. And so we'll be having these type of things. We'll be having a process of ADDIE, of how to maximize human performance. When we talk about intelligence, you know, when we talk about our own intelligence for the Nakhti Queen Mothership. And so it's not so much a process of spying on what other people got going on or what other people are doing, right? It's more so monitoring infiltration, trying to make sure we don't get infiltrated. That's it. And I want that to be very clear, because you know, a lot of you would be like, oh man, she into some other stuff. She talking about that, and she talking about economics. She talking about that, and niggas is scared of power. You know, you niggas, you know, so whatever. But another method for identifying potential risk is through the close monitoring of communication channels. This is not for. We will not be doing this to our members. If you get on probationary period, because you disrupted more than 3 times a meeting, something that led to us not making a deadline, something that led to us not being able to follow through on something that's extremely pertinent to the governance and the running of the Nakhti Queen Mothership, you are going on a probationary period. You can leave. You don't have to do the probation, because we don't make people sign, oaths or nothing like that. So if you want to leave, then you could just leave. But if you say you want to be a member, then you will be put on a probationary period, and you will have close monitoring, and that can include tracking your emails, text messages, and other digital data for suspicious activities. We would be looking at if you spread disinformation, if you spread confidential information, stuff like that. Additionally, organizers, it's possible that if you get on this probation, because again, we are not trying to get in your business and monitor you, but if you, again, it has to be something major to even get on probation, and you have to do it 3 times. Actually, it's twice, but then the 3rd time, that's when you get on notice to be on the probation. And background checks that will be done. We'll be looking at all of that stuff. We're in a rival organization, blah blah blah, government agency. We'll be looking for all of that, because we need to know why you are constantly starting drama. If you want a committee, if you want a council, especially. So that's really where it will count, because those are the meetings where we are planning the governance and running the Nakhti Queen Mothership. So we will be looking at that. Like, that's that's very important. Now, if you get into an argument with your neighbor in an intentional community, or even if it's a fight, y'all fighting over the last chicken wing at the Buck Wild Friday night, that's not what we consider necessarily a disruption. We're gonna look at you sideways, and we may consider it if it happens over and over and over and over again, but that's not what gets you put on probation. We talking about you were supposed to file something for the local authority so that we can get a permit for zoning, or we can get authorization for our water, and your ass just didn't do it, and you got excuses, and then you get into an argument with the person that the SME who wanted to make sure that the deadline was met or whatever, something like that. Oh no. We on your head. You gotta go. Or if you claim you want to stay, you claim you loyal, you claim you loyal and down for the Nakhti Queen Mothership, then you're gonna be put on probation. And we had said it was about 60 to 90 days. We used to do 60 to 90 days. And the other dimension, obviously days and the time differences, time zones are different on this Earth dimension. But so in order to protect the movement from spies and disruptors, it is vital for us to monitor, infiltration and disruption and whatnot, as any business, company, organization should do. And have they been doing, I believe in the Church of Scientology and the Hebrew Israelite organizations, they even got their own methods for, monitor. I think the Hebrew Israelites, they make you sign some crazy ass shit. I mean, not just they do this NDA stuff, but they make you sign over your will, your estate, or some crazy shit like that. I'm like, we ain't even doing all of that. We don't get down like that. As far as signing over your, I think you have to agree to be. It's some weird stuff that they do. Like, I don't even want to speak on that. But and we're talking about not all Hebrew Israelite organizations do that. I want to be very clear. I want to be very, very clear. Not all Hebrew Israelite organizations do that. But I have heard of some that do, from the people that were members themselves, who've come forward. From the people that have come forward themselves, men and women. Okay? And so, when we start our own intelligence apparatuses, they should be responsible for conducting surveillance, obviously analyzing data, responding appropriately when suspicious behavior is detected. We'll set that up. I'll set that up, or somebody else can set it up. Doesn't have to be me. But additionally, the intelligence agencies should communicate regularly with the other movement members. So you will know, you'll probably do a report on a yearly basis of things we've been monitoring, threats to the organization that we have caught, any type of hacking, cybersecurity. We have to, especially with the economic stuff, that requires a lot of, monitoring. And so, we're very, and the thing is, with the Nakhti Queen Mothership, we believe in transparency. Obviously, with certain methodologies, you conceal things, and then we have higher, how do I say this without sounding, because I've just been in the spiritual plane lately, and so I have to bring things down to the earthly realm so that I can still be relatable. And so I have to always watch, how I word things, versus being, in a spiritual realm versus when you bring it down. And so, there is, obviously, I'll leave that out. And so, again, any type of potential adversaries, we will be collecting information on that in an organized manner. We will be looking at things and people and places and entities that look to discredit our efforts. We were running counter campaign on that. That's a part of it. Counterintelligence for those who try to discredit what we're doing, spread misinformation, spread lies. It is what it is. And that's common sense that any organization would do that. And so with these processes in place, it will be easier to spot spies and disruptors ahead of time before any major harm can be done. And so if an individual is found disrupting our progress or starting drama again on more than 3 occasions, you will be removed from the Nakhti Queen Mothership. After the second time, you're going to be put on that probation for that third time. If you do it a third time, you just out. And so in that probation period, though, we are very much transparent that you will be motherfucking monitored, and members will be watching you, and they will be encouraged and incentivized to, with data and evidence, report if you are doing anything nefarious. Now, again, if somebody just is your enemy and they just want to get, and they come with some bullshit and they ain't got no evidence, that's not gonna count. We are very fair, it's about justice, it's about righteousness, balance, evidential based, thinking system based approach that is logical, that is filled with love. And so love is always the cornerstone mark of everything that we say and everything that we do. And the Nakhti Queen Mothership, it's always been that way for time millennia prior to it being renamed the Nakhti Queen Mothership. We have always been about love and justice and balance and peace. So we're not gonna be approaching you like you some hostile if you have a personality quirk, you screw up. But if we find out that your ass has been doing this because you are on some sinister mission to jeopardize what we've been doing, then you are going to be treated with hostility. And we got evidence of it. We have to have evidence, and we have to, it has to be very much something that we can prove with that was premeditated. You know what I mean? Like even with the situation that I'm dealing with, like I'm a natural prophetess. I'm a natural priestess. Been that for aeons and many lifetimes. My bloodline is of the priesthood and military science, priesthood military for thousands of years. My bloodline, and so a lot of that naturally, that knowledge comes through me naturally, just from ancestral epigenetics. Some of the things information I've been privy to and been given has come from interdimensional sources. Being able to remember past lives, being able to, from the gods themselves giving me information. And people can say, oh, that's a demonic possession, or that's a demonic and they don't understand how the trauma that I went through, God took that trauma and turned it into the proper monarch mentalism that it was supposed to be for the royal bloodlines. The one that from my dimension, the process that we've always done, through the building of consciousness, through introducing downloads, programs, altars. Now, that was done to me in a different way from the earthbound realm. And what I'm saying, and I hope I'm probably losing people, but what I am saying is, I'll say it again. What was meant to be taken for bad, how and it's a Bible, there's a verse in the Bible where it says, "What the devil meant for bad, God made and turned for good." And so, God, whoever, I don't care, you could call it the source, the God above the God, because to be honest, what does it say? That you are all God, you are all sons of the Most High. The kingdom of God is within you. You are the God. What the Gnostics believes on the Nag Hammadi texts and the Essenes, and you are the God. And so, but with me, I'm going to get a little Gnostic on you. We believe in a God above the God, and we believe in intermediate levels of Godhood. And so we do believe in levels of Godhood. It's not that we believe, that's just a fact of the universe. There are levels of Godhood. There are levels of power and ascension, even when you become a God, or you tap into your inner power, or you are aware of it. Even if you are aware of it, but then you haven't applied that knowledge, and you're building up to applying that knowledge. Levels to it. And so what I am saying is that the Godhead has been the homie. And many of you would say, oh, that's so disrespectful, you're supposed to be on your knees growling and crawling, and you're supposed to be and it's like, oh my gosh, if only you guys knew like the level of power in other dimensions certain intermediary gods would get. We literally get to make decisions for the entire universes. Some of us have the ability to create universes, to create planets, to destroy them. We sit on committees and councils. We make decisions for the entire galaxies, different galaxies, all different types of shit. And so, some of us, and believe it or not, some of them walking among you, you do think are human. Believe it or not, some of them walking among you, you think is just so lowly, like you ignore the woman at the well, like how Jesus, remember the woman at the well, everybody was looking at her, oh, she nothing, she this, she that, she that, and Jesus, saw what she was really about, saw the inner dimension within, and so that's why you can't judge people based on looks and what they got, what they don't got, their status and whatnot. So that little thing y'all do here, that's weird as hell to us, because again, that's how you've been able to be. That's how your ass is being tricked, and people are running psyops on you, running all types of nonsense on you, because you're placing emphasis on people, places, and things, and not being content with what you have. But then there's people that's running your ass that you think got nothing. You think they are homeless, crackhead. You think they are homeless, nobody. They don't know nothing. They didn't graduate high school. They ain't nobody, and that motherfucker is running the matrix. That motherfucker is running your narrative. You don't even know it, because you don't see things interdimensionally. You don't see things galactically. You see what's in front of you, and that's how the human race is getting fucked with. And it's the biggest joke. It's the biggest joke to us. It's the biggest joke to us. But at the same time, for us, I have compassion. Honestly, it's not so much a joke to me. I'm just saying for some of them, it is a funny thing. To me, it's like, I have compassion. I'm like, let's let people know, like let's let them know that they have more power than what they believe in, and they have more agency, and that they should get beyond the material thinking, the material world, the physical world. How you have to teach them how to overcome the world, and so that's where I'm at. And so, I've had people, when I went through my little thing, and my bank account got locked, and so I needed money quick. Like my bank, I was on the weekend. Savings don't, they don't do transfers on the weekend. You guys all know that. But then it was actually like my shit was fucking locked, like frozen. And so it was like, oh shit, I'm in a bind. So I'm calling people, whatever, and things, shit got real. And so, I'm calling people, like family members, and everybody is laughing like, oh, ha, 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 I can't stand, ha, ha, that's what she get, because you didn't follow what we told you to follow, you ain't do what we told you, ha, 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 you homeless, you poor, da, 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 you ain't got shit, da, 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 and it was so funny to them, and it was like, yeah, I mean, you could feel the energy, I could feel it. I'm like, well, my account will be unlocked on Monday, and the transfer will go through on eventually, Tuesday, Wednesday, to Thursday, and, but I'll pay you back. Nobody was there to help. No family members, no friends. And it was because I didn't follow my bloodline's wishes. And so I guess that was like the punishment. I don't know. I don't want to get into that. I don't want to get into that because everybody knows it's much deeper. But it was definitely like a ha 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 moment for everybody else. And I'm just like, damn, y'all judging people based on that? Like you would judge a person based off of their perceived level of not having it, or not having what you have, or and so I was just like, that to me was I'm gonna be real with you. That was very low level to me. And granted, I was going through things where, you know, you one person fighting against hundreds of people in an organization or a system. And so it is what it is. But then you have to realize that, are you the dream or the dream? And that's all I'm gonna say. Are you the motherfucking dream or are you the motherfucking dream? And so that damn, for those who know, you know. For those who are there, they get it. People, and what really bothers me is the dodo birds that, what you talking about? What you mean, Kylie? Meanwhile, these motherfuckers know exactly what you're talking about, and they the nigga that said money. Oh, I can't stand them motherfuckers. Watch out for them people too. If you got family members like that, and I know I'm on a tangent, but if you got family members, you saying something, and don't nobody want to believe you, and they trying to play you like you crazy. Oh, what you talking about? That can't be real. That can't be true. You sure you just saying? Did you get some sleep? Did you take it? Get away from them motherfuckers. I'm telling you, them people those are the motherfuckers that be in on it, and they just trying to gaslight your ass. And so I'm telling you now, if you ever awaken, if you ever have a spiritual awakening as a Black American, a human, whoever you are, a being, a God, wherever you are at on this dimension or throughout, because actually we can actually transport these YouTube, believe it or not, YouTube videos get viewed in other dimensions as well, just so you know. And so wherever you are at, I'm letting you know, if you ever get your spiritual awakening and everybody around you acting like you what you talking about? I'm telling you, don't even say anything else. Don't even say nothing to them, because that's the motherfuckers. For one, they the ones that set it all up. Especially if you come into realization that, as far as uncovering, you know, what you perceive as what may be potential deception or something you don't understand, something you don't have knowledge on, and you're trying to get information, and you know something, you may have had a dream, your spirit, an ancestor visited you, and then you start talking about it, and everybody acting, you know what I mean? And so that happened to me, and that's going to happen to thousands and millions of you on Earth Dimension. And not going to be because of me, but just because of the energy and the time and the place the day that we are in. We are transcending consciousness. We are transcending and ascending into a new level. People talk about 3D, 5D ain't shit. That's definitely like a couple thousands of years ago. So we are trying to get through 7D, 12D. Many of you are capable of 12D, and I've talked about that a year ago in private to some other spiritualists. And I did a video on that about the 5D matrix is programming. You guys definitely want to look at that. Go and review that. And so, you know, they talk about the 5D and whatnot. And so, it is what it is. It is what it is. But that's what I have for you today. The Nakhti Queen Mothership Intelligence Chapter 13. I want to see, let me see. I think we don't got much longer to go with this. We got the planning councils and the subcommittees of the planning council. That's pretty interesting. And then we have the festivities. We have some Queen Mothership festivities, holidays, some prerequisites of knowledge that we want you to have before you even consider joining. It's not the prerequisites are not a requirement. They're just suggestions. One thing you'll notice about me as an entity, you know, I don't do a lot of demands. You know, you gotta do the, you know, I'm not one that force my beliefs on other people. Force my thoughts on other people. I just give a suggestion. You ask me something, I will give you the information. If you disrespect me, I will disrespect you back. If you are condescending to me, I will be condescending to you back. I do not believe in turning the other eye and being some long-suffering, graceful motherfucker when in the face of disrespect. No, I do not. And, you know, a lot of times people get on me because of the way I talk, you know, to people, particularly on social media. You know, my social media being shambles sometimes the way I be talking to people. You know, people call me out on it like, well, only if you didn't talk to us like this, we would listen to you, and only you didn't, My thing is, You threw the disrespect first. You threw the first. You threw the first shot. I give it back. You come to me with respect and genuine spirit, you know, and curiosity, and you know what I mean. And you can feel that genuine. You can feel that love. You come with me with love, I will give you love back, no doubt. You know what I mean? Like that's just the type of person I am. That's just the type of person I am. I'm not a fucked up person, you know. And I don't appreciate being treated like I'm a fucked up person. You know, I'm gifted. I'm incredibly gifted, and you know, and I mean well. I do require transparency when dealing with me, though. That's just how it go. If you can't tell me what the fuck, why I gotta do something, or why you expect something out of me, but you everybody all secretive and they all da da da, it gotta be something sinister. It gotta be something that's not in my best interest. So no, I don't roll with it. But if you can be transparent with me and tell me the motherfucking truth and show me the evidence of the motherfucking truth, and you're not all cryptic and I'm catching you in lies and shit. And I'm talking to, you know, for those who know, then if you can't be like that with me, I don't want nothing to do with it. I don't want nothing to do with you. I don't want nothing to do with none of that. I do not. That's just not something I believe. Anytime somebody want to be cryptic and put you through shit and do rituals and put you on the chopping block, and then you don't even motherfucking know about it, then they get mad at you because you found out you knew the rules to the game and the entire game. They know the rules to the entire game, and you know. And then they get mad when you figure out the game, and then they get mad when you're like, no, I don't want to play that. But you're like, why would you do that? And so I honestly find that incredulous. I do. I find that weird, if anything else. And so that's what I'll say on that. But again, I want to encourage you guys to, again, don't limit yourself at this 5D. We are shifting this consciousness. We're just shifting this dimension. So you're going to see a lot of people that you know, that's like that lady that was like, remember she was on an airplane and she was like, anybody, you guys can believe it or not, but that motherfucker is not real. You knew that lady knew what the fuck she was talking about. I wish y'all would stop making everything a meme. And that lady was not crazy. The white lady that was saying it, that got on that plane and said, and then it was, I think, a guy. Was it a man that went all berserk like, oh my gosh, come on, you motherfuckers think flying in an airplane is not space travel. Oh, wait till we talk about that in the Nakhti Church of the Higher Self. Oh, you don't think that's interdimensional travel? You think you're just flying in the sky? Crazy as hell, man. That's earthbound, globe-based, flat earth-based thinking. That's why I told you Earth is a dimension. It's interdimensional. You're already in space. And so, eventually you guys will see that. I can be the one to get laughed at. Ha ha ha, Tali J.N.S. Watch 100, not even 100. Watch 50 years from now, your ass be like, oh shit, she knew what she was talking about with a lot of shit. A lot of things. The intergalactic mentalism of the mind, with the charts that I've released, with the Nakhti philosophy, everybody is, she's I should know what she's talking about. Okay. Because to me, what I find ridiculous is how there are people in very, very extremely powerful positions that are monitoring my stuff, taking from my stuff, knowing what the hell that I'm talking about, and then not giving me credit, and then trying to go off and you know, like, I just don't respect that. And that's why a lot of my stuff is encrypted. A lot of my stuff that works for me will not work for them. The sigils I created with the seals, the J.N.S seal, the protection for the protection apparatus, that a lot of that stuff is just not going to work for those that did me dirty. And then a lot of times, like, you may see that seal and you say, why you got for J.N.S, and I'm gonna do a whole video on this for those who listen to this whole thing and listen to my tangents, but you've been following everything that's been going on. You've been looking at some of the stuff that I've been putting out. You're like, what in the hell? But you're trying to understand. Well, thank you for at least giving me that grace. Okay, at least giving me that grace. But you know what? I'm gonna save that. I'm gonna wrap it up, and I'll do a separate video on that, like on my sigils and on my esoteric knowledge. Like, what does it mean, and why do you have it a certain way where it's like you want us to believe in you want us to worship you? Not at all. If you notice, like, The reason why I'm doing it is because I have a legion against me. So it's like, to protect my shit from not working for that, I have to do it that way. Same thing with Jesus did. Oh, why do you think Jesus was always 2,000 years ago talking about, if you only get through me, you have to believe in me in order for this to work, and only for this to work, you get access to. And then people were upset at him, like, oh, we don't need a middleman, or you're just a prophet, or why you need us to worship you. And then he really didn't want that. It was just because so many people were against him. It's like, well, I can do these things, and I have this power, and I have this knowledge, and it will work for you, but only if you rock with me, only if you love me, and you're not trying to kill me. If you're one of the ones that's trying to kill me, my shit's not gonna work for you. But if you're one of the ones that love me and rock with me, my shit gonna work for you. And that's why you'll see it like, you'll see it worded those ways. Same thing 2,000 years ago. Straight up. The same shit happening again. And so that's why you see a lot of them sigils say, it only works if you wish the best for J.N.S. It's a lot of motherfuckers that want me out the paint, and that shit is hurtful. So you gotta protect your shit. You gotta make sure your shit don't work for people that hate you. You gotta make sure that your shit, your intellectual property, your angelic property, does not work for those that want to see you gone, that want to steal from you, that's jealous of you. It's as simple as that. But for those that love you, for those that want to protect you, that for those that's really there for you, you want to make sure that they got access to those levels of ascension. So that's all it is, and that's all I'll say about that. And so I love you guys. I will talk to you guys later. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive, and make sure that you are in control of your own narratives, your own reality, like homegirl was saying. And I'm gonna talk to y'all later. Bye.